Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to some Starcraft BroodWar Remastered. Can I get this right? Perfect. Welcome to Starcraft BroodWar Remastered. Today I want to show a couple games that I have. This particular one is my ZVZ that I had on Shakur's Temple. Not my particularly favorite map. I think it's mostly because of the way it looks. I think like it's just not aesthetically pleasing. On the bottom right there, I am very toxic, and on the bottom left we have Oyeon 23. This is a very high rank A B C D E, very high rank D match. So not exactly the cleanest games, but definitely a little bit where the cogs are turning a little bit more. I do believe in this particular match we're even MMR. So, just getting started. I think I decided. I had initially thought I was gonna go for a 9 hatch with 9 and speed all in. But I ended up going a little bit on the AFK track, as you see right here. My brain clearly turned off, as you can tell by this, and also I have an Overlord that just built. So I ended up turning it into a 12 hatch. I actually ended up losing quite a bit of mining time for that. He decides to go overpool. So let me turn off his vision so I can talk about what I'm going through. It's going through my head. I managed to get my hatch down on between 11 and 12. Probably at 11 because of how much time I lost mining. I just needed to get the larva to justify it. And I actually play very, I almost want to say unacceptably greedy here, because I put my drone back up to 12 before my spawning pool, which is very risky in ZVZ, since a lot of people are aware that ZVZ, it's almost whoever can put down their spawning pool the latest and on time for Zerglings to show up to pop out of their eggs to defend. And I think this is like that particular moment where you just say, okay, now we're a little too close for comfort. And so now I start transitioning into into going to two hatch spire. So definitely a more economic approach, which is very. I think I took the most riskiest form of an economic approach. I have my 9 saturated, start bringing down. I start building my Zerglings at my second. I think at this point I was just mostly thinking about getting my defense up in case there's any jazz coming across. So I have 3 pairs of Zerglings being built. 4th one getting my tech. I didn't get speed because I was at defense, and I figured I might as well just keep. If I can keep them down here, then I am fine. As we see, he has 6 to my 4. I lost 1. This is actually very scary for me, and I ended up playing very actually more aggressive than I really should have for this particular thing, despite having a little bit of high ground. I try to get some damage done, which really I should have just pulled him back immediately. So yeah, he's up quite a bit in terms of his value. I actually microed my drones correctly here. I'm actually really happy with this, looking at the match. Only lose 1. So he only gets 3 drones off this, I believe. Yeah, 3 drones. So that's a lot of damage, but at the same time, because I didn't lose I didn't lose more, I was still able to get on track for my spire. I actually don't like that I put the spire down here. I think right here, actually, or right here would have been perfect. Right here, I can at least put a spore colony right here, and it'll defend this whole quadrant. But I already spotted his spire, and it actually made me. I remember asking myself right in the middle of this match, like, holy crap, how does he have his spire so fast? Because I thought he went speed first. Obviously, the answer is he went player first. Looking back at it, I actually had to look it up and figure out why his Spire was so like records pacing on time. So I'm getting some nice damage off, and I'm actually really happy with that. Mostly because it kind of puts that. I think it puts that weird, like that weird feeling in your head of like, ah, dude, like, am I gonna get sniped or not? But I do know, I did say to myself, I got some decent damage. I got some information. I was kind of praying. I was praying to myself quite a bit that I forced Zerglings out of him. I slapped down my evolution chamber because I knew I was going to be on the defense for quite a bit. And so when I saw this pack of Zerglings, I was actually very happy because it told me that I did the damage. I did more damage than just tickling his Spire. I tried to use the drones for glitching. Kind of didn't really work, and I kind of messed it up a little bit, but it does buy enough time. Oh, what a tight. That was 2 drones are just painted. Like, they're just waiting to get sniffed on. That is terrifying. I take the most wounded drone and put it to a spore colony because I know I'm gonna need something. Because I am running late. Like he has his mutalisks out. I am only have like a handful building at a time. Still keep some things at home for defense. This is like very good. Apparently I've managed to pick off a overseer, or sorry, an overlord, with probably from I think probably from the scourge that I made this turn, And so this is the thing I was talking about. Like you're always kind of keeping that pressure on. He doesn't invest in sunken colonies, which they kind of do suck for Zerglings, but it does buy the time. So yeah, I actually feel very, very happy here because my job right now is I'm just trying to keep him. I don't want him to come across. I mean, because he can easily take a few bites out of me. I'm collecting the information off this. I actually didn't look at the Spire. I know that I didn't look at the Spire at all because if I had looked, I would see it's doing the upgrade dance. And so I spot this, and you can tell I'm immediately beaming back. Because at this point right now, I know that I felt okay, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't feel like I was too far behind, even though the supply says I am. I'm really happy with my performance here. I pull away. I painted the Scourge quite a bit. I snipe it off. That's pretty good. I'm really happy with how this is so far right now, because it is buying me time. As we see, we're equal on max cap, so he has to reinvest. So this is actually, and the supply is closing pretty well for us now. I'm building some Scourges, buying Mutalisks. I'm just trying to find out what's going on. I eventually check, and I see that I was behind. He didn't... I was actually kind of... I felt really lucky with this, but then I immediately go over and snipe the Spire. And to talk about why I did this was I had a game between where I played for Beachbody Starcraft, or BBS in CPL, and I fought against Melody, and I actually lost a game in a very similar manner where her Spire is completely exposed, or was out of position to a spore colony that she had down here, and I knew I had already tickled the Spire quite a bit, so I kind of had the mentality right now. It's like, look, he hasn't been investing in defenses. I can easily just go over and snipe it, and eventually, we're gonna see how much value I get out of this as I leave it alive like a silly little guy. There we go. Okay, perfect. And as we can see here on the rest of this, it actually forces him to bring back his flock, and I just leave. This is like a fantastic thing that I get myself into. I set myself up to build up my flock count, I'm apparently dancing with him a little bit. If I in a better world I would have spotted this, but I knew I was immediately taking out an overlord over here. But yeah, at this point right now, I knew at least in the immediate sense that I am pretty happy. I think at this point is when I realized I was down one upgrade because he has his carapace and I don't have mine yet. So I'm constantly just trying to be annoying while tasking building up, and I'm hard supply blocked here, but I'm constantly getting like little trades in here and there as I'm constantly taking away overlords here and there. And this is something I'm actually pretty proud I'm pretty proud with myself with. Like, I am very good. I notice I have very good fortune of constantly being a little pain in the ass. So I even sneak a drone off for to get extra supply or to get extra hatcheries going. Mostly because I feel pretty safe. You know, he's not looking to fight. I'm constantly tickling his drone count away. So yeah, this is like one of those games where it's like I'm very, very happy right now. Like, you know, myself. And all I have to do is just slowly build my flock up and give him a little bop on the snoot every now and then. I'm not really sure about the whole keeping scourges with my pack. I feel like they should be more like solo hunters, where they kind of like, you know, you have your main fleet here and you have the scourge on the side to do the counter flanks. So clearly I'm a little miss micro here, but I think we're equal on upgrades right now. So I spot this, I got a few drone kills, and I left. This is just poor micromanagement from him, I feel like. So yeah, this is actually really good for me right now. Oh, okay. As I opened my mouth. Oh, geez, that was such a bad moment. No, I donated like three mutalisks. So yeah, that's unacceptable by me. But I'm spending my gas, which is the most important part, and this is really good for me right now. So I got some scouting going on. Yeah, I think I see the scourge here, and I just immediately like lock on to this. Yeah, I like lock on to the overlord. I was like, oh, dude, we're gonna snipe it. So yeah, I'm actually feeling pretty happy. I finally finished my +1 carapace. I have my spores colony to protect me, even though I don't think it's enough yet. But yeah, he's unable to get his trades in, so I'm like, he's not getting trades in to whittle my my mutalisk or my overlord count. But at this point, it's like I'm pretty ahead in terms of like the mutal, and I even started +2 carapace, and it's like he goes for his Hail Mary, the game's over, and GG's call. So yeah, I spent some time afterwards just beating up the base. So I was pretty happy with that. Definitely a lot of smaller mistakes as opposed to just you know, missing a real strong sucker punch. So yeah, I was really happy with that one. Let's go on to a game where I kind of throw myself pretty hard. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so this is, I think, my first game of the day. It was a ZV mystery race, and it ended up being Protoss. So it's really just a ZVP that I couldn't do anything ultra-violent against. And top right, I'm hanging out with the Red Zerglings. In the bottom right, we have the Marine Corps Korea. I believe KOR stands for that. And this particular game I kind of shot myself in the foot quite a bit. I had a very strong opening where I was able to play a more greedy version of 6 hatch Hydralisks since he does not go Corsairs, and I end up throwing the game because of how do I say this? I end up throwing the game because I think I just lose too much, and I was out of position for my army. Where for a while I had such a commanding spot that I could have just barreled in and just start pumping, like just start throwing myself against him and outweigh his economy. And we're gonna go over it a little bit. I think it's actually a very important game to look at. So I actually go overpool because I was very scared of Benzene, and Benzene is an infamously cheesy map. I think a lot of players agree that it's like a Zerg's dream map because of the little backwash here that you can break down. I have many times in my game where I will gladly just send like a pack of lings or lurkers, break it down. Lurkers are the most efficient at breaking these down since it'll hit all of the destructible structures. And so Protoss goes for a nice casual forge expand, gets a nice block off, which is as much of a pain in the butt. It is. It doesn't matter as much. I just go and take the third, the mineral only patch. And something important to know, especially with Zerg, is because it's only 6 patches and they're pretty light on minerals, you actually mine out of it very quickly than you would think. So I go 6 circlings, just mostly to keep some pressure early on, try to be a little bit honest with him. And so my last player is joining. Okay, there we go. And so I kind of missed this a little bit. I could have just put one on there, take the rest, and as I do here, go take out the Protoss's pylon. But yeah, so at this point, the game's pretty standard. There's nothing spicy going on. Yeah, there's just nothing spicy going on. So I'm able to just, play very standard, get 3 hatches. Get my 3 hatches and just play around the fact. I think... So, I always find these to be very interesting because this Protoss decides to do the pylon block, and I feel like he could have, because of the way he if he didn't mess up his wall, he could have put in his gateway and he would have been, much safer. If I had seen this sooner, I think I would have just immediately gone up here and just started eating away at this, because having this open for backstabbing is probably why this map is so obnoxious for any non-Zerg player. Just because you break this down, you put 2 workers here, and Protoss loses this whole thing. I mean, especially with the 50% chance of missing, or 50 or 25%, I have to look it up. It's so powerful. So yeah, right now I'm simply saying to myself, I can just sit back and farm. I have no reason to just not farm my little butt off, Zergling butt off. So yeah, and I didn't make this decision, and this is something I should have done instantly when I saw these pylons. That I could have just gone up here, taken control, and give him a nice little backstab. Because I'm actually in a very, very strong place right now. He does not have a cybernetics core building. I obviously only have so much of that information. I think I put 2 and 2 together here because of you see the 2 pylons there, and I know I don't see it because I'm microwing my overlord. So this is I'm actually in a very strong spot, and I take advantage of that and just start droning my my butt off. And I feel like I probably could have just dropped the Spire altogether, because we see right here that his cybernetics core is just a quarter done. So I actually could have just gone straight Mutalist, and we could have won that way actually. So I definitely have some options. But I decided to be a little silly about a macro and go for a more macro-oriented game. So yeah. But yeah, so the supply is actually pretty good for me right now. All my money is being spent as efficiently as possible. I dropped down my 4th hatchery My fourth and fifth hatch, I think, actually, I think they're okay now. But yeah, you know, I'm farming like crazy. I'm pumping out 7 drones right now, and so yeah. I didn't actually notice this like myself. Like I didn't see that that was actually spinning, and I could have really taken a lot into account, especially if I didn't see any starport or stargates, to assume that we could have done something more aggressive. So yeah, I definitely had many opportunities to abuse them, and seeing this dragoon really should have just said go Mutalisks. Like this is. So yeah, he's hiding the Citadel of Adun, which is it's actually quite late. Now that I think about it. So yeah, I dropped my 6th hatchery. I think I could have just taken my 3rd gas even quicker, either here or here, because you know he's not leaving his base anytime soon, and we've kind of known that just by the fact that he pumped out 2 dragoons prior. So definitely a lot of missed potential opportunities here, and sitting larva, which is also a bit of an issue as well. Okay, it's being spent. So yeah, I was definitely in a position where the game was very much so in my command. And I think this is just something from... so I definitely know I'm very used to being +1 legged to the point where we could tell it's like almost a crippling feature, because we're almost 8 minutes in and no aggression has been shown from Protoss. In fact, absolutely no aggression, which in ZVP that's really almost unacceptable, I want to say, because of how important Protoss needs to keep Zerglings or the Zerg units off as many bases as possible. Because I'm coming up on 7 hatcheries now, and I'm actually really happy with myself a little bit. I'm spending my money quite well, as I have 6, 7 larvae. I have some larvae hanging out. So yeah, I had such a lead, and we're gonna watch how I like kick myself in the foot. But this is not terrible, actually. Like, for what this passive game is, I just have many opportunities to just take the game and just end it here. I actually could have just ended here, again, by either breaking this down or simply just marching on in. He doesn't have his storm or anything. So my Scourge spots it, and honestly, yeah, this is like, I had many opportunities to just end the game, and I'm really upset that I'm not playing aggressive here. You know, we're ahead in supply. We're ahead in 9 minutes. We're ahead of supply. Like, this is outrageous for ZVP. I could have gotten my Overlord speed. I could have done so much to play this. We're ahead. We're equal on upgrades right now. Like, this is... And this is a map that... What's so good about this map is you can play aggressive, because there's not much... there's not many locations to, like, you can't turtle up as much as, like, say, Fighting Spirit. So he finally does his first push out, and we're not trading very well. No, we take that back, actually. We're trading really well. Yeah, we're actually doing alright. Take out his dragons. This is all good. Over his observers were getting ticked off. So yeah, right here, I should have just marched in. Yeah, at this point, I should have just taken my units and just smash him into his base. Try to take out his cannons and his forge, and we would have been in a really good spot. Dude, I had so many opportunities to just be aggressive. This is so upsetting. Oh gosh, like oh my goodness. And I know this is just from probably just needing to make the connections. Like, okay, I just deflected an entire 2 control groups, or what it looked like 2 control groups. So yeah, this is all just coming down to just not taking the aggression that I could have taken. So like, I could have actually taken all this out before these zealots were created. This is one of the more inefficient trades that we take. Because, you know, we ended up losing like 3-4 lurkers. We're gonna lose a lot of lurkers here. Oh my goodness. This is not good for us. No, this is terrible. Yeah, this is an awful trade for us. Yeah, this is such a bad trade. Ugh. But yeah, he has no static defenses. We could have just gone we could have not carriers, sorry. We could have gone yeah, like his storms are like 5 minutes late. We're ahead on upgrades. Like there is like we're in such a commanding spot that losing this game is like just a sin. Nice storm dodge. 3, 6. Nine, 10. Yeah, like, you know, we could have just we could have stayed on Hydros or Flare Tech for a little bit. God, what a kick in the foot! Of how I just lose such a very commanding game. I ended up forcing a cancel. Like, so many things I do wrong here. Yeah, I ended up giving him an expansion for free while he's basically on 1.5 bases. Donating free. Like, oh my goodness. And a lot of this is just small things, and I would easily be crushing this player. Yeah, this player should have been... this game should have been over almost, 7 minutes ago now at this point. All I had to do was just plug this, keep these ramps up, camp the bridge, plug this right here, deny his expansions. We would have been golden. We could put lurkers here and can go up to about, I think, this right here. I mean, there's just so many ways we could have won this game. Yeah, I mean, we're spending our money, like, everything, like, the bigger picture is all correct, and now it's just about how do I make that bigger picture finally closed. I mean, Protoss does not have much, but I am just, I'm ahead of workers. I'm at 60 workers. Like, I'm living the Zergling dream. I could have pumped out defilers. I'm at 5 gases. No, I'm at 4 gases. My 5th gas is being salvaged. Oh, gosh. And I think right now is the death push. It is the first death march. Yeah, I think we're getting to the point where I think the death march is going to come. But, you know, I'm not in an awful position. I would actually argue I'm in a fantastic spot. Because, you know, he's kind of been hanging out on his side. I'm able to, you know, get ahead of him in workers. Close the gap by, we're 39 supply short. I mean, oh my goodness. I think he's on +1. No, he's at +2. Okay, so I can still get 2 shot my Zerglings, but... So here's the death march. And this is when the game just takes, where I just kick myself so hard and lose my lead. Because at this point, I said to myself, I need to just start producing. I need to get the army going. I don't think about bringing my splash damage, doing counterattacks. I'm going for a drop on the side to try to put some type of pressure on. My Zerglings are eating an unacceptable splash damage. I mean, this is just so many things wrong here. I could, you know, oh yeah, I finally pull my lurkers and they get sniped off. Burrow, please. Nope, didn't want to burrow. Okay. So I'm getting damage done, but nah, it's not justifying. It's definitely not justifying what we're dealing with. Because Protoss, once they're in Zerg's vein and they're going out onto their tech, it's the game's over. Zerg is going to have a very major uphill battle. I think in this particular scenario, my job would have been to say, screw this, go immediately to his expansion so that I can go and contest, and in this case, I think it would have been the top left corner. But instead, I tried to salvage up for some reason, despite, you know, him having High Templar Storms, Archons, and 2-1 Protoss units. So yeah, this is just not good for me. I had a drop somewhere, I think. Oh, there it is. Ugh. My APM just tanked because I was kind of like clearly, I guess you would call like burnt. Not burnt, but just not there. But yeah, a lot of this just came down to just being out of position and then redeeming High Templar snipe. But just a lot of it came down to just being out of position. I think if we had gotten this one, if we had taken this off them, because we took out his his observatory, there could have been an argument that I could have potentially stayed in the game. But he has +3 DTs, like, I mean, that's a lot of damage. And so now he can send his zealots just wherever. Ugh, this game was such a tragedy. I probably could have just gone Mutalisks at, you know, like now or before. Well, not now because of the Archon. But oh no. Oh, Hydralists do not trade well. Oh, this is a disaster. So yeah, we definitely learned that we just had one major missed opportunity, and we just don't take it. Because as you see, he's just going full gateway, man. Could have done more drops too, I think, if I didn't go. I mean, there was just so many opportunities. So many opportunities. And so yeah, I think we can tell where this game is going. I mean, I'm dead. DTs are just everywhere. They're like little zerglings. I have a nice tight wall, or not a tight wall, a nice tight what's it called? I don't know why I'm producing overlords. I think I was just so banked at that point, and so I ended up losing despite being able to collect more resources. What a tragedy. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. And if anybody has any tips or tricks of how I could have improved, I would love to hear it from you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye! I mean, what a tragedy that game was.